Accounting practices are important because of to achieve proper governance of service charges. The lease will set out not only the services to be delivered, but also the administration of the service charge. But the lease will also state whether there should be a fund or any provisions, and hence the accounting method adopted by the landlord or its agents is really important. The code suggests that managing agents should account for service charge either on a cash or an accruals basis. Accruals is most commonly adopted, although it's our experience that there isn't necessarily a uniform approach to that. In our view, there are some significant improvements that can still be made in the way that the industry deals with accounting, principally involving a better audit product, and secondly, looking to the industry to produce a balance sheet at the end of each service charge year, which would automatically require proper and effective accounting and a review of the provisions that are made year on year for future costs, including accruals. To consider accounting practice, I think it's best to look at accounting practice through the chronology of the year. So the RICS code dictates that, although it's only a guidance note, dictates that the budget should be prepared in advance of the service charge year, and that's clearly good practice. In preparing a budget, it's important to ensure that the costs relate only to those services that the lease provides for. Then, throughout the service charge year, there should be a review of actual costs versus budget. Variance reports should be issued, and we would very much advocate management accounts on a monthly or bi-monthly basis as a means of providing improved management information. When you get to the end of the service charge year, the code currently requires the accounts to be certified within 4 months of year end. And what we would like to see is that there is a common accounting practice, which is accrual accounting, that there are opening and closing accrual balances declared, and that there is a schedule of costs which make up the closing accrual made available to tenants on request. Importantly, at the end of the year with the certificate, we would like to see a balance sheet, which will also deal with fund provision, and a complete transparent disclosure about where funds are held, account statements, and interest accruing on those accounts. Landlords approach us to help them with the compilation of service charge budgets, or at point of certification, for us to gather together evidence of costs incurred for the purposes of certification and cost recovery. For us to do that, we need to be provided with the evidence of costs incurred in the form of invoices and vouchers, and importantly, we must see the service contracts to ensure that actually the services delivered actually correspond with those that the lease provides for. Usually tenants approach us because they have a concern about cost recovery. So they want to have some validation about the appropriateness of recovery. Very often they've received an exceptional demand, or they are contemplating a new lease and wish to benchmark the cost or indeed component costs to ensure that they're paying an appropriate sum. We do have approaches from tenants who are renewing leases or entering into a new lease, and they want advice on service charge provisions.